In the heart of a bustling Lagos compound, two girls, Sandra and Anita, grew up like sisters. Their friendship was as natural as the sun that warmed their skin, woven together like the intricate braids their mothers styled every Saturday morning. Sandra loved simple braids with soft bronze beads, a reflection of her quiet, graceful nature. Anita, however, always chose bold, elaborate crowns adorned with amber, matching her fiery personality. Their dreams were just as different. Sandra yearned for stability, a cozy home, a peaceful marriage, and a business she could call her own. She moved through life in soft-toned kente dresses, embodying a calm spirit. Anita lived loudly. Her dresses were a riot of color-deep reds, greens, and golds, her energy infectious. She dreamed of luxury, of being seen, of a life where her presence alone was a statement. Everything changed the day Sandra met Victor. He was the kind of man who commanded attention with his tailored suits and polished confidence. They met while Sandra was catering a corporate event. He was drawn to her professionalism, her humility, and the gentle light in her eyes when she smiled. With Victor, Sandra bloomed, and for the first time, Anita felt a strange shift within her. At first, she was the perfect supportive friend, helping Sandra pick outfits and celebrating her new love. But when Victor proposed, publicly and beautifully, a small, sharp crack appeared in Anita's heart. The day Sandra moved into Victor's home was breathtaking. The mansion was a modern African palace, filled with warm orange tones, carved wood, and expensive art. Sandra, glowing with happiness in a brightly patterned dress, gave Anita the grand tour. Anita smiled, but her eyes lingered on the gold jewelry, the designer perfumes, and the walk-in closet filled with more luxury than she had ever imagined. Admiration began to twist into something darker. That evening, back in her small apartment, Anita stared at her reflection. She adjusted her braids, smoothed her vibrant dress, and the questions began to bubble up. Why not me? Why her? Why does she get the life I always wanted? Envy didn't storm in. It tiptoed, a quiet whisper in the back of her mind. Where Sandra saw blessings, Anita now saw a life that she believed should have been hers. In that silent moment, a tragedy was born, and neither of them knew it yet. Anita's envy wasn't a sudden explosion. It was a slow, quiet unraveling, like a single thread pulled from a cloth until the whole thing weakens. Each time she visited her friend Sandra, that thread loosened just a bit more. Sandra, bless her heart, always welcomed her with open arms, completely unaware of the storm brewing beneath Anita's bright kente dress and polished smile. Sandra was an expert at hiding her pain. She covered the bruises with long sleeves and carefully applied makeup. Even on days when her eyes were dull with exhaustion, she'd still braid her hair perfectly, serve her husband Victor with endless patience, and paint the perfect picture of a happy wife. All Anita saw was the beauty, the comfort, the privilege. She never saw the shadows that lurked behind closed doors, and so the seed of envy took root and grew. Soon, Anita started dressing up for her visits. She wore fitted Ankara dresses, striking amber earrings, and elaborate hairstyles designed to catch the eye. She started laughing a little louder whenever Victor was around, complimenting him with a warmth that was just a little too deliberate, positioning herself just close enough to be noticed. Oh, Victor noticed, but not in the way she hoped. He saw her eagerness, her desperation, her efforts that were just a little too much. He'd sometimes smirk at her, more amused than tempted. Still, Anita didn't give up. One evening, after another visit where Victor barely gave her a second glance, she walked home with her heart burning. The dream of Sandra's life had consumed her so completely that she could untell the difference between wanting it and believing she deserved it. It was in this state of bitter obsession that she heard the rumors of a man on the outskirts of Lagos, a man who dealt with the unseen world. They said he could bend destinies, bind hearts, and break marriages with ancient spiritual powers. The idea took hold of her. Fueled by jealousy, not wisdom, she dressed in a deep, gold-patterned wrapper, braided her hair tightly, and set off for the shrine. The air there was thick with the smell of herbs and damp earth. Wooden carvings of spirits and symbols lined the entrance, silent warnings of consequences. An old herbalist emerged, his eyes ancient and calm, seeing more than Anita wanted to show. "Why have you come, daughter?" he asked, his voice steady and heavy with history. Anita hesitated, but her envy was stronger than her fear. I want Victor, she said, her voice trembling but firm. I want him to leave his wife and love only me. The herbalist studied her, his gaze piercing. This kind of work doesn't create love, he warned. It creates bondage. If I bind him to you, you will be tied to him in return? Even if he hurts you, even if he destroys you. This path cannot be reversed. The warning was sharp, clear, final. But the frantic pounding of Anita's heart drowned it out. Do it, she insisted. I accept everything, the ritual began. There were chants, smoke, red and black threads knotted with precision. Victor's name was sealed inside a clay pot, and ancient symbols were drawn with solemn purpose. As the herbalist dropped a charm into the river, he looked at her with genuine pity. What is done cannot be undone. Anita walked away from the shrine believing she had just claimed her destiny. But in truth, she had just sealed it. Thanks for watching. Follow for the next part of the story. The spell tightened around Victor's life with alarming speed. Within days, his gentle mask dissolved. The man who once brought Sandra lunch and held open doors now returned home with a coldness that pierced through the walls of their mansion. His voice grew sharp, his patience vanished. And then one morning, without warning or emotion, he told her, Sandra, leave my house. Sandra stood frozen, her heart sinking. She was wearing a soft orange-patterned wrapper, her braids tied neatly despite the exhaustion behind her eyes. What did I do? She whispered. But Victor didn't answer. He dragged her bags outside, closed the door, and didn't even look back. Sandra walked away with dignity, though her heart was breaking. She returned to a small rented room, hiding the full truth from her family. They saw a woman starting over. They did not see the bruises hidden beneath her long sleeves. Meanwhile, Anita waited for destiny to call, and it did. Come to my house, Victor said. His tone was flat, but Anita heard victory. She dressed in her best kente print gown, arranged her braids into an elegant crown, and stepped into the mansion she had desired for years. Victor stood in the living room, distant but willing. The charm had worked. Within a week, he married her. But the marriage did not come with tenderness or celebration. It came with violence. The first beating came swiftly, all because she asked a simple question. Her phone shattered against the floor. Her cheek burned, her confidence cracked. She told herself it was just stress, a mistake, a moment of anger. But it wasn't. The violence returned the next day, and then the next. He slapped her in hallways decorated with beautiful woven art. He dragged her across the marble floors she once admired. And the charm held her there. Each time she tried to step outside, a sharp pain struck her chest, like a chain pulling her back. The herbalist's warning echoed through her mind. If he destroys you, you will still belong to him. Desperate, bruised, and terrified, Anita returned to the shrine. She fell to her knees before the herbalist, her braids undone, her wrapper stained with dust. Please, undo it, she cried. The old man looked at her with sorrow. What was cast into the river cannot be retrieved by human hands, he said gently. Your fate is tied. You chose this path. She stumbled out of the shrine, the weight of her decision crushing her spirit. For the first time, she understood the truth. She had not taken Sandra's blessings. She had taken Sandra's suffering magnified, weaponized, and bound by a charm she had demanded. And now, she belonged to a man whose love was nothing more than a violent curse. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe for more stories. Anita had no choice but to return to Victor's mansion. A powerful charm pulled at her chest like an invisible chain, tightening with a sharp, breath-stealing pain whenever she tried to leave. Her fate was no longer her own. When she arrived, the front door was wide open. Music and laughter echoed through the halls. Men smoked, women in vibrant dresses danced, and there was Victor at the center of it all. He sat untouched, unbothered, completely uninterested in the broken woman standing in his doorway. He glanced at her, taking in the fading bruises hidden beneath her foundation and the neat braids she'd redone just to look presentable. She still wore her patterned wrappers with warm orange and gold tones, a desperate attempt to hold on to some dignity. Victor simply pointed to the kitchen. Go and serve my guests. No concern, no emotion. Like a prisoner conditioned by fear, Anita obeyed. She moved through the party with a tray in her trembling hands, offering drinks to guests who whispered behind their glasses. "Isn't that Madame Victor? Why does she look like this? She used to be so full of life." God save her. Some pitied her. Some laughed. None intervened. Victor pulled another woman close, laughing and whispering in her ear as Anita watched from across the room, her heart bleeding. When she accidentally dropped a glass, it shattered, silencing the music. Victor stormed toward her. One slap, then another. And the third, right there in front of everyone. Nobody moved. After the party, Anita was left to clean the mess alone. She gathered broken glass with shaking fingers, wiping blood from her palm. With each shard she picked up, a horrifying realization deepened. This was the life she had fought for. This was the destiny she chose. This was the price of her envy. A quiet truth settled in her chest. He didn't love her. He never would. The charm hadn't delivered the future she wanted. It had delivered the punishment she earned. Meanwhile, across the city, Sandra was rebuilding. She had returned to a simple life, braiding her hair in soft, neat rows, wearing affordable, beautiful dresses, and expanding her catering business. She was healing. She was growing. She was finally free. But Anita remained a captive in a golden cage, a mansion that devoured everything inside it. She no longer dreamed or hoped. She simply survived, breath by breath, day by day, in the life she had stolen. She carried the weight of a lesson carved deep into her soul. Jealousy is a debt. And sooner or later, it demands to be paid in full. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories.